Hey everyone and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where it is time for the second to last Postmoogle quest. We're back on the new HUD. This is actually more updated than the Hildebrand HUD that we had at the last Hildebrand trial. After that Hildebrand trial, I realized that, while the friend I was copying it off of has really good muscle memory for their hotbar, so they're fine with their hotbar being down in the corner, for me, I need that hotbar to be a bit more visible, especially since I do all the jobs, so I'm less familiar with each individual one. So I need my cross hotbar in the middle. I also swapped the minimap with the party list, so the party list is a bit more off to the side. It's still pretty visible on screen towards the middle for me, but it's no longer going to be poking up directly into my face, which is an improvement. There's a few other minor adjustments here and there, you'll probably notice them as we go. Anyways, hello there, Deputy Postmoogle. The Postmoogle's quizzical brow suggests he has an unusual delivery for you. This person looks familiar. I want to say Landonal, but this looks like somewhere in Lenosia, not South Shroud. Ah, Sator! I was right! Goddamn! Okay, sure! Ah, Sator, you've come not a moment too soon, Kupo. I have a letter addressed to Landonal over in Camp Tranquil that wants for immediate delivery. See, that's the funny thing. I have prosopagnosia. I'm really bad at recognizing people by their faces. More cartoony styles or more anime styles are a little bit easier because it's a bit more stylized, it's a bit separated from human faces. I'm a little bit able to recognize those because I don't rely on the face recognition part of the brain. But the fact that I recognize him by the back of his head is fucking something. I hope he isn't inclined to send a reply though, because there's no return address to be seen. But one task at a time, Kupo. First of all, we, and by that I mean you, must see the letter safely to Landonal's hands. I must warn you though, rumor has it the good captain of the Sixth Sphere has been acting strange of late. Perhaps this letter has something to do with it. At any rate, best not to keep him waiting. Now off you go, Kupo. Alright then, let's go see what's going on with Landonal. On to Camp Tranquil. Nice and easy teleport for us. I didn't check. How are my Aetheryte tickets doing? Probably pretty well stocked, and if... Oh, 89. Yeah, that's not too bad. I did a few S ranks that popped recently, and I've got plenty of allied seals. I'll restock soon. Landonal, there you are. Hello, I've got a letter for you. Well, if it isn't Satora, it has been too long. Still gallivanting about on endless adventures, I shouldn't doubt. Ah, what I wouldn't give to be doing the same. But enough about my suppressed desire. Hold on a moment. Maybe you can't see a damn thing because you are in the ground, whoever's talking. Okay, comedically placed, chat bubble aside, but enough about my suppressed desires. What business brings you here? Oh, there's a fate, probably. A letter? Well, what have we here? This cannot be. It's an invitation from Whiscat to a memorial service for the commander of the Company of Heroes. The commander went missing some 5 years ago, shortly before the calamity. As if in anticipation of his disappearance, he disbanded the company and sent us all on all our separate ways. It was all so sudden we knew not what to make of it at the time. Some believed he feared for the lives that would be lost at the hands of the primals. Others believed he was convinced the calamity would mean our end, and dismissed us that we might enjoy what little time remained. His final request was that wherever life should lead us next, we live up to the words of our company creed. The duty of the strong is to protect the weak. To that end, I returned here to Gridania and joined the Wood Whalers. I've done my best to honor that promise, but if truth be told, I was never truly happy at my post. Often did I dream of fighting at my commander's side once more. And so I have decided to resign from the Wood Whalers. Indeed, I have already made my decision known to my superior, but awaited an official discharge. Once released from my post, I had intended to search for the commander with Whiscat, with whom I had been in contact about my plans. But now this letter arrives with talk of a memorial service. I simply cannot believe it. There was no one stronger, more resourceful. What is more, Whiscat himself agreed to help me find the commander. Why would he do this if he knew that the man had died? Whatever the hell is going on, I will get to the bottom of it. I will go to Whiscat and demand an explanation, and depending on what he says, former comrade or no, I may well spit the bastard on my lance. You'd best be on hand when I talk to him, Adventure, lest I do something I may regret. I shall make my way to Costa del Sol as soon as the matter of my resignation is settled. Pray join me there. I shan't approach Whiscat until you have arrived. Hey, Landonal, just to be sure, you have like a backup plan for a new job, right? Alright. I guess he did say he's just gonna explore for a little while. Okay, the chat bubbles looked like fate, a specific fate, but it looks like the fate's not active right now, so maybe it expired. But there's a fate where some poachers, I think specifically the, what are they called? Red bellies. The red bellies are hunting turtles so they can like tame them. Anyways, on to Costa del Sol. Let's just go ahead and take an easy teleport there. There was no return address though. Huh. Between there being no return address and the fact that WizCat had agreed to help search for the commander, something definitely feels fishy here, and I'm not referring to the smell of the ocean. Good to see you again, Satora. Landonell arrived but a moment ago and in a right foul mood. Said he had some business to discuss and insisted on waiting for your arrival. You should know what the— okay, something's definitely off here. Good, you're finally here. Now we can get down to business. You agreed to help me search for the commander, but then you sent me this invitation. What is the meaning of this? Captain WizCat of the Company of Heroes requests the honor of your presence at the memorial service for— Is this some crude joke? I'm sorry, Landonell, but I've heard no news of the commander, let alone his passing, and I certainly have no plans of holding a service for him. I am as baffled as you are by the letter. I should like to know who penned it. I see. I'm relieved to hear that you had no part in this absurdity. A great many mysteries yet remain, to be sure, but so long as we can find the commander, I shan't bestir myself over them. I trust I can rely on your aid still, old friend. With the commander back at the helm, the Company of Heroes shall be reunited once more. And good riddance to my tedious life as a wood whaler. I believe I have an inkling as to the sender's identity and intent. Knowing this, I cannot in good conscience help you in your search. I'm sorry, my friend. What? This is not what we agreed upon. The letter, the memorial service, what do they matter if we know them to be false? You said you'd help me. You can't simply go back on your word, gods damn you. Ooh, alright. No, we're not doing that. We are not spearing him. No, please, calm down, Landonell. We'll figure this out. I know full well skewering WizCat won't get me any closer to finding the commander, but... Look, Landonell, I understand your desire to find the commander. However, I must remind you of your promise to him. You will never live up to your word chasing after shadows of the past. My promise does not preclude me from searching for the commander. If you will not help me, I will simply find someone who will. It's as though he's reverted to his old savage self. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. The commander was as a father to him. Truth be told, Landonell's real father was a criminal, or so the story goes. Sad, really. He was just a child, and yet the townsfolk assumed the worst of him. Bore the sins of his father, you could say. His poor mother reached the end of her tether. At least that's what they said when they found her hanging from the rafters. Oh, Jesus! Landonell was not completely alone, though. He became fast friends with Ywain, now master of the Lancers Guild in Gridania. They were not inseparable back then, but the townsfolk's disdain for Landonell did not cease, and he feared their ire would soon turn toward Ywain. Rather than risk the well-being of his dear friend, Landonell abandoned what little remained of his world. Landonell was convinced the world hated him, and he returned the feeling in kind. He'd become a monster, that is, until he met the commander and was taken in by the company. I dare not think what would have happened had they never crossed paths. It was not an easy feat, to be sure, but the commander helped Landonell set aside the anger that had taken control of his life. It was Landonell's love and respect for the commander that brought him peace, but that selfsame love may cost him everything he has achieved. The man who wrote that letter suspected as much and used this ruse of a memorial service to bring Landonell to me. But I fear he's not like to understand why that letter was sent to him. I realize you were only entrusted with the civil delivery, but it would mean a lot to me if you could keep an eye on him. If he seems to be losing his way, please give him a gentle reminder of our company motto. Knowing him, he will go next to Wineport. Whenever he was in trouble, he would always seek out Shamani for advice. Godspeed, friend. Make sure he doesn't hurt himself, or anyone else for that matter. We're going to be going on a tour of the entire Company of Heroes, aren't we? Alright, on to Wineport. Quick flight, but I'll meet you over there. Hello there, Landonell. Good to see you're alright. I will say, it has been long enough since I did this on my main that I don't remember how this ends, but I do have a hunch. My current hunch, based on what's happened so far, and based on what WizCat said, is the commander of the Company of Heroes is still alive, and is aware that Landonal wants to search for him. But he really wants Landonal to move on and just move on with his life and not be so reliant on the commander. And that's why he's trying to manipulate things in order to get Landonal to, kind of give up and move on. I see, so you're the one who delivered the invitation. Oh? I simply do not understand, Shamani. How could Wiskat put aside our search like that? Does he no longer care for the commander? No longer care? I must disagree. Choosing not to search for the commander and not caring for him are two rather different things. Then what of the so-called memorial service? Wiskat seemed willing enough to help me, but then he read the letter. Whoever sent the accursed thing wants us to give up the search. I suspect your meeting with Wiskat is what the sender had intended. Like as not, your coming here was also anticipated. From everything you've told me, it is clear the man who penned that letter cares a great deal about you, and understands you quite well to know you would come to us. Who in the seven hells would be worried about the likes of me? Wiskat said he suspected who delivered the missive, but I haven't the faintest idea. It saddens me to hear you say that. We may have gone our separate ways, but in our hearts we are still all of us brothers. Now tell me, who of our members cared most for you? Who was always there to offer you a guiding hand? Why, that could only be the commander. Precisely, and it was out of the desire to see you move forward that he sent the letter to you. Contrary to what it seems, the commander is alive and well, and even now he watches over you. That, I believe, was the message he wished to convey. I tire of these games. If he's still alive as you say, where in the seven hells is he? Remember, the duty of the strong is to protect the weak. Right now, he is watching over you, making sure that you do not fall into that weakness, so that you can carry on the company motto. As if I would ever forget our company words. The commander taught them to me when I first met him. To this day, I remember that moment vividly. We were standing atop the point overlooking Costa del Sol. If the commander had meant to verify whether I had sought out Wiskat after receiving his letter, that is where he would have been. The odds are slim, I'll admit, but it's the best chance I have of finding him. I must make haste. I wasn't quite finished, if truth be told, but I suppose it cannot be helped. The commander meant that much to him. Sometimes the camera angles can get a little bit funky. From wielding a spear to living an honorable life, Landonal learned all he knows from the commander. Naught gave Landonal greater joy than to meet the commander's expectations, and he went on to distinguish himself among our ranks. After disbanding the company, I believe that the commander continued to watch over Landonal, and upon sensing his growing discontent, he decided to take action and sent the letter. The road has been bumpy, but Landonal has finally arrived at the truth. But the final leg of his journey remains, and I should be grateful if you were to accompany him. Alright. Let's catch up to him. Make sure he's alright. I've got a strong feeling the commander has departed, and did not wish Landonal to catch up to him. If he wants Landonal to move on, then actually meeting him in person would be the worst thing for that. But the commander knows Landonal better than anyone, it sounds like, so we'll see what happens. Now, I am very curious, actually. If I had come up here, would I have seen him? Satora, I might have known that you would come as well. Behold, my friend, this spear belongs to the commander. Alas, the man himself is nowhere to be seen. Why? Why does he refuse to meet me? Because you are not ready, and by now you ought to know the reason why. It took me long enough, but I think I'm beginning to understand now. As he would always tell us, the duty of the strong is to protect the weak. He wanted us to venture out into the realm and live up to those words, each in his own way. Like you, Wiskat, you were a mercenary of unquestionable renown. The world was yours for the taking. Yet you chose to stand as a humble protector of Costa del Sol and all who call her home. Shamani had a hand in revitalizing the Bacchus wine industry, and both Uad and Brayflox have become leaders among their people. We serve the realm better as individuals than as a single entity. That is why the commander disbanded our company. Though I never forgot our words, I did not fully understand them until now. Instead of doing my best as a wood whaler, I had my head in the clouds, dreaming of a return to the glory days of old. We did much good for the realm, and had the time of our lives in the process, but it was past time for us to pass the torch. And the torch, you must agree, has been taken up by a most worthy individual. This realm has no further need of the Company of Heroes. The commander believes thus, and I agree with his assessment. That is why I chose not to search for him. And neither shall I anymore. As you said, Whiskat, I am not ready, or worthy, to face the commander. Ah, what a fool I've been all these years. There is much to be done if I'm to make up for lost time. Commander, if you're watching, you need worry about me no longer. I will live up to our words and do you proud. This, I swear. Your journeys take you far and wide, I believe. Should you happen to cross paths with the commander, please see to it that he knows my mind. I think he knows. Let's go with the money, I think. I can craft my own potions of higher quality. With our successful delivery, our reputation has grown as a letter carrier. There is just one final Postmoogle quest in the game, but we're not going to take care of it quite yet. That'll be in a couple days. For now, next time on Final Fantasy XIV, let's take on the final optional dungeon, and actually the final dungeon of A Realm Reborn. Yeah, final dungeon of A Realm Reborn. That is where we're at. We are at the end now. I'll see everyone next time for that.